going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and with me tonight, special guest of the show, always a friend of the show, Mr. Hollywood, Evan Hearn. Evan, thank you for joining us tonight. How you doing, man?
Always a pleasure, man. How you doing tonight, Jimmy? I'm doing pretty well. Just got done work. I'm ready to talk some Eagles. I talk about stuff all day at work I don't want to talk about. And now I finally get to sit down and talk about my birds. Looking forward to it, bro.
That's the escape, right? That's what this is for. And
Exactly
always a pleasure to have you on, man. So I'm doing good because, I've got you on. We're going to talk some birds. So that's always a good time. And yes, life obviously gets in the way of our Eagles talk. And, I myself have been getting kicked in the saddles the last few days. And of course, being out in the sun and really just roasting out there.
So the sun has been ungodly.
I can't stand it.
It's been brutal.
Oh man, I can't take it. But it's been a fun past couple days. Got to do some things with the family. But dude, finally strapped in, got you here, wanted to get you on. So thank you to everybody else that's tuning in. Corbin in the chat, what's going on, my brother? And Tony, what's going on, dude? Nice to see you. Who are you going for now? At that the Sixers are out.
I'll go with the Suns. I'm a Suns fan as of right now. I'd like to see Dario Saric get a title.
I wanted to make a post, but I'm like, it's going to sound really weird when it was the Western Conference Finals. And then with basketball, I used to watch it when I was a kid, and there were certain players I really liked. And I only owned a few different jerseys than Sixers jerseys, one being Dennis Rodman, and then the other ones were Lamar Odom for the Clippers. And I remember I wanted a Darius Miles, but I ended up with a Lamar Odom because that's what was at the store. I was really young. But I get that jersey, but then the other one I had when I was real young was Charles Barkley when he left the Sixers and went to the Suns. So I thought to myself, this is pretty wild. You got the Suns and Clippers who haven't won a championship. So either one of those two to me would be pretty cool to see, the underdog rise up. But I'm with you. I think the Suns would be pretty fun. Old Dario over there.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bridges there. I can't forget Brown for trading him. So.
Should have had him, but,
Ass clowns, man.
We're used to poor management as Philadelphia sports fans. We're used to just letting the wrong guy go and keeping the wrong guy. It's like kind of our entire lives.
It really is. And it's just, you watch these other players and then their jersey like hangs up in your closet and you're like, oh, that's great. They're just balling elsewhere.
Yeah, they're in the rafters of a stadium somewhere else. Yeah.
I truly hate it. I couldn't have said it any better, man. You nailed it.
Yeah,
it's tough, but we're here tonight to try to bring some of that energy and excitement that I know you guys enjoy. So thank you guys. Already pumped up in the chat. That's what I like to see. CP3, yeah, that's another one. He deserves it. Remember when I was a kid, he was supposed to get traded to the Lakers, and they nixed it because they're like, oh well, yeah, you can't have a super team. Well, what happened to that?
Those days are over with. NBA is run by super teams now.
Yep. But what really pisses me off about all this in the end is the fact that the Sixers this is their chance. I mean,
I know, man.
You could have had.
And the fact that it really feels like just the timing of it, that collapse in the Sixers is what caused Mark Zumoff to leave. He just couldn't take it anymore, man. It's a shame.
We talked about it last night on 4th and Jawn. Hopefully you guys were able to check out the latest show. We had a great time. And, on the goodbyes of the show, Evan threw that out there and it was a great call. Mark Zumoff, dude, that sucks for anybody that grew up listening to him. I mean, that's all I can really remember. I mean, from my teenage years, and dude, he's the man. He's the GOAT.
He's a legend, man. Yeah, he's a legend. Yep.
Dude, the guy retired, and they're like, something weird is happening. I think people realize, the internet's taken over. There's a lot of things they can do with social media. And a lot of these older guys you see are leaving. You got Les Bowen, Paul Domowitch, people getting bought out, essentially saying they get paid the same just to leave this year. And they're like, hey, and you don't blame them, dude. So it's sad, though.
It is sad. It is sad. But I think that there's just to spin the conversation in that direction. I think that there's a lot of Carson Wentz in Ben Simmons. If I'm being real, man, that comparison has been those parallels have been brought to the forefront, I think, by everybody on Twitter. We've talked about it we had an entire show about it where we talked about just the collapse of somebody who was once viewed as like an elite superstar. Dude, the parallels are there.
And look, and I've seen that, and I've seen a lot of people get riled up about that. They're like, "Don't you dare!" And
Yeah.
they're right. When Carson helped bring us the championship, so I totally get that. But where I see what you're saying is, you were depending on him, and in the biggest moments where it's like where you need to see this person rise above,
Exactly.
they did not do that, and I
Yeah.
agree with you there, 100%. And look, I'm not here to trash Carson Wentz, and that's not what Evan's doing.
Yeah.
And we loved Carson when he was here, but he's gone now, guys. And a lot of people I see too much arguing on the timeline. It's like, dude, who cares? Like, he's gone. And I think you and I, man, I love this, man, because we're just here to have a good time.
We're just having hey, man, I've been talking about NQE for what feels like over a year now.
So that's where I'm heading.
Yeah,
so we didn't hesitate, didn't even skip a beat. And it's not like we're backstabbing anybody, but it goes to show you we're diehard fans and we ride with you if you got this right here. So when Jalen
Hurts of this right here.
Correct. So when he comes in, we're like, all right, let's ride behind him. Dude, I had you on that week. We talked about what is he going to bring? And you talked about NQE, that new quarterback energy. Because let's be real, we knew what was coming every week, no matter what we did. Game plan, oh, this guy's coming back from injury. Or, oh, yeah. Nope, we sucked. We were getting killed. Don't care if it was Carson, whatever. Well, all of a sudden, Jalen Hurts comes in. Oh, for the love of God. You talked about it. You dubbed it the NQE, and we both got pretty damn excited. Everybody, we had a couple of people in the chat a little upset too, and they're like, "Don't you dare!" And we both tried to say, "Look, we're just trying to back up the kid. We're gonna find out." And yeah, we're a little scared. We'll fight, because what are we doing here? Why is Carson, our star quarter? It was scary,
right?
And look, writing was on the wall. He's gone now.
100%. And that was one of the more, I think, confusing things for me to really wrap my head around as an Eagles fan, to see all of this back and forth, this like lashing out in between fans. Like, we're all fans of the Eagles, and for a line to be drawn in the sand and there's people picking sides, it's Carson or it's Jalen. It's like, dude, I just want the success of the Eagles. I really don't care who gives it to me. I just want the success of the Eagles. And so
the same with Nick Foles.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not gonna lose sleep, especially like towards the end of like when Carson was here. Like there was these little things that were being put out there. He was not exactly there was whispers of him not being a great guy in the locker room and gelling with other guys on the team. A lot of the younger receivers started to drift more towards Jalen Hurts just because they felt more relatable towards him. And I think that like there's talent, and then there's also how you carry yourself as a player on and off the field. And I think that your players to be able to connect to you is a very crucial piece in building chemistry.
Definitely. And he had that, like, that swagger from day one. And it was, I mean, you weren't looking, you were looking away if you didn't see it. And it's really weird to see people. And it was the same with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. People were bashing Carson. Oh, Nick Foles did this. And it's like, dude, I just want to see the best man win. And I hated that the Eagles even created that. Well, that controversy's over, man. Jalen Hurts is QB1. We got him weapons. The offensive line's back. There's no excuses. So
are you trying to say Joe Flacco doesn't pose any real threat?
No. But hey, I think he's a good mentor, and they keep saying he's not 100%. Here to be a mentor. It's like, shut up, dude. And it's like, don't patronize me. Now, anyways, Joe Flacco is a guy that literally won a Super Bowl, and you can say what you want, New Jersey native, whatever, loved the Eagles growing up. That's pretty cool, man. And maybe he can really help this guy. And I think it's just the little things that he has to pick up from a guy that's a vet. And sure, we talk about, even Steichen and Patullo and Brian Johnson, not just, Nick Sirianni with their work with quarterbacks. It's going to really help Jalen Hurts. But, what about Joe Flacco, what he can do to help him? So all the things he can pick up, I think he will. He's a fast learner, and he's a dude that wants to learn. He works every day, right? We talked about it yesterday.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, my God, dude. So what do you think? I just really don't understand why people really are bashing him for 3 games, man. And I don't even want to mention it. I really didn't, because we had a whole show about it last night, guys. But Chris Sims made a list, and it's the talk of the town, man. And he didn't put Jalen Hurts on it. And dude, I love it. I think it, chip on the shoulder. We talked about it last night. So how do you think that list is gonna, in case anyone missed it, how do you think that list affected him? What's it gonna do for him? And how can he use that toward growing in the future?
Yeah, and one thing that I want to start out by saying is that, like, what I've seen from Jalen Hurts and how he, what his perception is through our eyes as fans, like what we see in him. All I see is a guy that he's humble, He stays quiet. He does it. All he is focusing on is getting better each and every day. And I don't think that Carson was very much different. I think Carson was a very humble guy. I think he was just, he was a film studier. Everybody said that. But I feel like it translates more with Jalen Hurts. And maybe it's just recency bias because, we saw what happened to Carson. And then, you flip the page into Jalen, he starts doing well. But ultimately, like what I see in Jalen Hurts is an absolute dog, man. This dude is a savage, and he has a relationship already with a guy that I think is going to be an absolute star on this team in Devontae Smith. I think that the chemistry that they're coming into the season with, like they already have existing chemistry, which I think is awesome. And you multiply that by the fact that Devontae Smith, even without Jalen Hurts, I think could be an absolute star in this league. So I really think that like the sky is the limit for these guys. And I am just so eager to watch them go out there and do it in an actual game and not just like we're getting all skeptical during practices and watching, what the reporters are willing to give us.
Yeah. I like how, and I don't want to keep reverting back to number 11 here, but it's true. It didn't just happen last year. He was regressing over the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really just him either. And I think Doug Peterson played a part in that. And that's why over the past couple of years, we talked about bringing in an offensive coordinator for Doug. He was too stubborn. So we went through all that. Look, it's a whole new coaching regime. It's Jalen Hurts here. And I think, I love that you gave credit to Carson. It's not like he wasn't here working, but you said it. Jalen Hurts brings something different, a different kind of swagger. And I love it. And giving him a star receiver. And I wish I would have seen this earlier, but I was actually looking for a picture earlier of you to make the graphic for the show.
Yeah.
And I had to scroll through our conversation. And the one picture was you did a mock draft and Devontae Smith was your pick. And we were talking about how, I wrote an article and Gail made a video, but hey, Ev was right there with us. And that's what we talked about. Like, we really did want Devontae Smith because it didn't really seem like Pitts or Chase would be available. Then we traded back and it was really like, Then it all happened and we have them. So be excited, guys. I just don't, the pessimism to me, and I've been bringing on some great guests, Phil from All About the Birds. I've had Scotty Talks on, some people just really trying to bring a positive energy, and I love it, man. Just really trying to spread that happiness, man, that brotherly love, because really it's been down in the dumps the past few years and we all feel it, man.
Yeah.
So but I think that new quarterback energy that you made up last year has been something we've been riding since the moment it happened. So
and ultimately, like coming off of a season like we had last year, it really feels like the only way we can go is up. So like I have higher expectations than what we ended with last year. That doesn't mean that I think that we're going to win the Super Bowl. Don't take me saying that I think Devontae Smith is going to be a superstar in this league means that we're going to have instant success as a team. I think he has potential to have instant success as an individual, but we're putting all the pieces in the right places. And I really like what they're doing. I like that we got that offensive coordinator, like you said. I like that we are not only we're getting guys that have worked together as well. Like a lot of it's pretty much like Indianapolis just moved to Philadelphia. We got a lot of that going on, but it's a group that works well together. And I think there's a lot of people that are still skeptical about the fact that Nick Sirianni never really was a play caller. Where's your head at on that? Like, because I have done a full 180 on Nick Sirianni. When we originally signed him, I took those opening press conferences, which I mean, he didn't really impress that much with the opening press conferences, just stuttering over himself and stuff like that.
He was nervous as hell.
He was nervous, and it's understandable. And I just kind of looked at him and was like, this is the freaking goofball they got to be the puppet. So Howie Roseman and Jeff can do whatever they want for another 3 years or however long. But just to see how he gels with these players, and just this, like, he is a never stop kind of personality. Like, he's always going. He's a high motor coach, man. He really is. And so I've really done a 180 on him. I'm happy with the Nick Sirianni coaching hire that we did this offseason.
I think, that's what's awesome about it. I think if people settle in, it's okay to have skepticism. We
Mhm.
should. We've been really through some rough times after reaching the pinnacle. We waited
Yeah.
all our lives for it, and then it was just downhill.
We are
So,
damaged goods, my friend.
yeah, it's okay. And we were laughing about it earlier, but it's like every effing Philly team. It's not just the Eagles. So
Yeah.
we feel it, man. And it's hard not to, be a pessimistic kind of person, but I try to be optimistic. And it's like, look, we could suck forever. Maybe
Yep.
this coach sucks and Jalen, blah, blah, but dude, these guys have Frank Reich was someone everybody talked about for so long. Bring him back. You got to have him. Well, we just got his protege. And I think it's kind of, people talk about someone not play calling. I
Right.
think to me, he sat there and he helped game plan against the teams. He knows what he's looking for in matchups. Sure, Frank Reich is calling plays, but he is really making a lot of these plays and figuring out ways to attack the defense they're going against for that week. So I think a lot of credit gets taken away from some of these guys. It's totally a team effort, and it's usually just the face that people see. But I think he was so good that Frank Reich obviously gave him high praise. But, when they met him and had him come right back the next day, well, the dude's on vacation. I think it's a pretty cool story. And you're right. He was nervous. So it's like, oh, Jesus. And I even said they're going to bring in some puppet. And I'm like, oh, shit. Is this guy?
We as Philadelphia Eagles fans, first of all, we have no patience whatsoever.
Yeah.
So and we are ravenous. So when we get the smell, we're like, oh, we got a new coach. Like we just want to we want to get a full interrogation out of this guy and just figure out everything that we can about him. And I understand as a guy who is not from the area how that could definitely be intimidating.
Yeah, and he looked like it, man. He was shaking in his boots. Dude, it was funny. And I thought, man, this guy seems like he's so nervous because he's so excited. And just a few things he said, it got me excited. But then you saw the later interviews with him and just the way he talked about the game and his passion for the game. And then I was watching so many just interviews with other players and coaches that talked about him. And it's like, dude, this guy's legit. Like he loves the game of football. He's really, really intelligent. You said it, man. He's high motor, man. He's high IQ. And that's the kind of players they're looking for. And they're going to use players to their strengths. So it's like, all really exciting stuff that we've been missing out on. Seems like a guy that's going to hold people accountable, something we've been talking about for years. So it's like, thank God. But I mean, it's all good things and it looks good on paper, but yes, it's okay to be skeptical, guys. But let's just have hope. And our only job as fans is to back up our team. So let's just hope Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have a great game plan. I think they will, man.
I think so.
And we've talked about that a lot. So, I mean, you guys know how we feel. Jalen Hurts, QB1, excited. We finally got through all that, the draft, since we've had Evan on, so we made it through. We know he's QB, got ourselves a weapon. But one of the things we've talked about, and, dude, I remember we were on a video when someone sent us the picture of Jason Kelce, Carson Wentz, and Zach Ertz on the field for the last game last year. And it was so depressing. Everything just sucked. And, you see that and you're like, oh, my God. The writing was on the wall. And, one of those guys is gone. Now, Zach Ertz, he is the final name. And look, we've been talking about it for months, and a lot of people, you get it when you post something about it, like, oh, yeah, I know. And it's like, dude, I know too. We've been talking about it for almost 4 months. And, and the team I'm talking about is the Buffalo Bills, because we talked about on 4th and Jawn here On the Road to Victory. We have talked about what a perfect match that would be. Dear God, that would be scary. Josh Allen as his quarterback. But regardless of, obviously they do have interest. They obviously there was some chatter that they had talked to him, but they just couldn't work out what they were going to get in return. So obviously the value drops. Some things are going to happen, but we get more money. We're happy about that. Yay. But the reason you don't blow this off, we talk about earlier in this video, some greats. Mark Zumoff leaving Les Bowen. And last night you also mentioned, don't you dare put that evil on me. But Merrill Reese, dear God, that's the GOAT right there.
Yes,
Eagles.
sir.
My God, I can't even just remember being at my uncle's and he would run out during commercials. He'd puff down a cigarette, but he always had the radio on. You could always hear Merrill. Dude, so he'd have the TV, the radio. You could hear it, dude. Hilarious.
Merrill has lasted so many generations, man. He is the voice of so many generations of Eagles fans. Yeah, instantly recognizable voice. Yep, exactly.
Gold right there. He's the GOAT, man. And I think when Merrill Reese goes on a podcast, I believe his name is Dan Cilio, of Jaquib Media, something like that. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but they had a video out today, and I'm like, what the. Merrill Reese is right there.
Dropping
And
bombs, bro.
dude, he's like, I think he's going to the Bills. That's what he heard. He doesn't have any inside information, so he's not saying that's. But if he's hearing from somebody that he would be willing to talk about, that's a very big possibility. So that's why I bring it up again. But let's be real. I think this is finally the chance for people to let it sink in, right? Because there's people still holding on. He's not going anywhere, man. He's still right here. It's like.
I think Merrill Reese too saying that he doesn't have any inside sources, I think is kind of comical.
BS.
Yeah, it's like
then they'll be like, who?
He's trying to tell us something without actually telling us something, which I really loved in that video. One of the lines that he dropped in there saying that Dan Celio has as good a shot of being on the Eagles as Zach Ertz in a month, or I forgot the period of time he said, but yeah.
I wish the clip would have been longer. I wish I would have had time to watch the whole damn video because honestly, that dude looked like he was busting his ass off. He was laughing so hard because that was a great line. And something, it's like, thank you, dude, because I just, weirdly enough, last night, here I was doing NFC East positional outlook the last few weeks, and we're on offense. So tight end happened to come up last night. So I was going through the NFC East tight ends, which got some pretty talented dudes in this NFC East. And obviously I didn't put Ertz up there. But I did. Look, and some, right away I was like, oh, dude. And I'm like, look, that was the whole NFC East, okay?
Did you do that subconsciously? Or
look. So I put him here for the Eagles. I made Goddard number one because, hey, to me, it's going to be Goddard. But so people wouldn't complain, I had this as backup. So
that's fair.
Tossed this up. And I said, look, that's 1 and 2. Boom, there you go. Threw up the other guys. I'll bring that back up in a second. But, dude, it's come on. A lot of people just won't let it go. And it's like, I know, man, I love him. I got his jersey right there. I really don't want to have to buy another jersey because I have no more left to wear.
Right.
I'll be real with you. It sucks, but people just really need to let this sink in. He's probably going to be gone in the next couple of days.
For sure. And I think the fact that the Buffalo Bills has been the team that has kind of been in the conversation the entire time. I think that there was a lot of, and I'm sorry that I'm bringing it up again, but when we thought that Carson was going to be leaving, the Indianapolis was the team that just kept on coming up over and over again, and that seemed like a realistic landing spot for him considering Frank Reich. I think the fact that Buffalo keeps on coming up in this Zach Ertz conversation is kind of telling in the fact that there is really something to these rumors, and there is some fire to the smoke. The only request that I have is that our compensation with Buffalo ends up being better than our last trade with Buffalo. Because quite frankly, the last trade, we lost. We lost.
And LaShawn, no.
So I have a question for you. Do you think LaShawn or Zach Ertz had higher value at the moment of their trade?
LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah. And the return was not spectacular at all.
Dude,
I get it was a Chip Kelly guy. It was a Chip Kelly guy. So that dude just operated within his own mind and didn't really take any outside conversation. It didn't make any
talking
sense.
Yourself into that? Do you? Because I did. I was like,
I did.
Okay. Now I was fucking furious at first.
And honestly, I thought, man, maybe we really do have something when we had that one-handed catch versus Atlanta, that one-handed interception.
Exactly.
I saw that. That was the first game, I believe, that he played for us. I was like, damn. All right, maybe we do have something in this linebacker. Never did a single thing after. Dude couldn't tackle to save his life, bro. So that my only request is that please do your homework and don't give us a return like a Kiko Alonso for Zach Ertz. He's worth more than that.
Well, here I'm about to break your damn heart, and I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me. But here's the thing. Back then, I love what you asked though. Who had the higher value at the time? LaShawn McCoy. One of the guys top of his game, but obviously he and Chip Kelly not seeing eye to eye because Chip Kelly thought, I can do that. I don't care. But then he adds greats like Frank Gore, DeMarco Moore. You like that? DeMarco Murray. Added actually, with Matthews there, that was actually pretty nice with Murray. I thought, okay, here we go. And it did look fun at times, but whatever. Screw him. Got rid of McCoy for Kiko Alonso. That is, dude, one of the worst trades ever. I can't stand it. But
it was ranked third since 2000.
Nice. My buddy is a diehard Bills fan. I was talking to him today because of the Ertz thing, and he, he called me right away. Of course, when LaShawn McCoy traded, he was freaking out, and I picked up because I literally hadn't seen it. Like he effing was on it, dude.
He's the one that dropped it to you.
He got it on me, and I'm
Yeah.
usually the guy that did it with him. So he like, oh, you got friends like that. They're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get you. So it's
exactly.
like, so he got me at some point, and I'm like, you motherfucker, you're lying. I look at my phone, and I've got like all this shit. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
And dude, so right there in itself, my reaction, like I was furious, and dude, I was mad for a long time. And then you said it, that one-handed catch. I'm like, all right, you know what? Maybe you're right. We need a linebacker. We gotta put a line. We don't put emphasis. It's been that long. But anyways, horrible. Now, Zach Ertz, I think, not only did he need more money, and the new team that's grabbing him knows that he needs more money. So they're going to have to give him a new contract.
Yep.
The thing for me is he played like shit last year. So that hurt him and it hurt us. And at this point in time, didn't make anything happen in the draft. We saved our money, but the value dropped. And I'll be real with you. I felt back then, maybe we got a fourth, a fifth, and people are like, don't you dare. And look, I think he's worth like a second round. But when you have to put all of that into context with the fact that he needs a new contract, they know that he wants to be gone. We're getting rid of him. They know that. So that kind of works against us. What do you think really the value is? And I know I don't want you to be mad at me, but I really think that, and I wouldn't be mad if it's a 6 because, dude, and I know that sounds insane.
That does sound insane, dude. I was going to say a third, honestly.
I think maybe a player and like a 5th or 6th. And I know that sounds insane, but you got to this point and they know it's cap relief for us. So it's kind of like they're helping us. But if you can get like a decent player in return, and I don't know, maybe somebody from the Bills that they like there, but I'm not sure that you get so much for him, dude. What are you thinking that he is worth? And look, with me saying that, when you have to put in, think about the fact that the new team has to give him more money and they know that we have to get rid of him. And obviously, if there were a lot of suitors, he'd probably be gone. So they kind of have us by the balls. I mean, what do you think what would be the lowest that you would be not punching through a wall? I'm not saying you're Kyle with a monster in your hand. I'm just saying upset about it.
Well, like the point that we're kind of at right now is the fact that like I've already moved on. Like he's still on the team, and like I think a lot of the fan base is at a place where like I've already moved on. So like as I complain and say like I would love a 3rd round return for him, it's not really realistic because like you said, like they got us by the balls. They know exactly what position we're in. They know we're in cap hell, and they know that we are looking to fill in other voids on our team that we need to fill with money. We need money in order to do it. So they're gonna throw us a bone, so to speak, and take Zach Ertz off of our hands. I mean, the lowest I would take, honestly, dude, is like a 5th.
That's what I'm saying. And I know 6 is wild to say.
Can't do it.
I know. But I said 6 in a player because you got to get more than that. But man, you just said it again there. They're giving us the relief.
When you say a player, do you mean like some depth on the O line? Like what is your thoughts? It's not going to be a Tre'Davious White, obviously. It's going to be. I mean, that would be a pipe dream, but
I mean, they've got that young wide receiver I really like. Damn it, what is his name? Davis.
Zay Jones?
Gabriel Davis, I believe his name is.
Okay.
He was somebody I really was interested in, and he really did well when he needed to step in there last year. And they had Stephon Diggs, they had Hugh Beasley there. Cole Beasley. They had so much going on. Dude, the Bills. They're a good team, and if they would have had Zach Ertz, holy shit! I was just thinking about that. How many
they were already like a contender last year.
Oh my god! But dude, I think this team getting a 5th wouldn't be such a bad thing. We already have almost maybe 3 1st-round picks next year. We already acquired that other 5th-round pick next year, trading the 6th and 7th last year. So, man, I wouldn't be mad. And if it's 6, I'll be crazy. But a guy like maybe Gabriel Davis would be somebody I'd be intrigued by. Or, you know what? Maybe like a Dawson Knox. I thought not necessarily a tight end 1 you want, but line him up with Dallas Goedert, and you have Richard Rodgers here splitting snaps. He's a guy that can block and catch in the red zone. I think that'd be a great addition to a team that's probably going to use a lot of 12 and even 13 personnel where you see those 2-3 tight ends. But we keep talking about this money, dude. And hey, we're almost at the half hour, but we'll go a couple minutes over if you can.
Yeah.
Now, Zach Ertz, we talk about it all the time. You're going to save $8.5 million. You got a little bit of dead money. We're already
How
at
old
like
is that
49
picture,
million.
Joe? He hasn't had hair like that, and I can't tell you how long.
Yeah, it was a couple years, and actually, this graphic's a little bit older too because I used this because it was at a time where he was really disgruntled, so I had to toss that up there. Look at him, I just pooped my pants. He looks like he's very upset. So
Yeah,
you save some money there. One of the things I want to talk about before we head out was, there's still some holes here, and I think people get a little misconstrued about, what exactly the money looks like. I did some math on the show the other day. This graphic right here, we just took what our current cap is, the $4,720,771. And once Dickerson comes in and he's going to replace the bottom of the 51 cap, the people that affect the cap. So with that money right there, this is the cap we will have after Landon Dickerson signs his rookie contract, according to Spot Rack, number, but they were right on the spot with the other numbers. So $3,996,831. That's enough because people get misconstrued about what the cap is. And they're like, well, you can't. He wants $4 or $5 million. Okay. You can still, and look, I know they want to give him 3. Steven Nelson is who I'm talking about, who I wanted to mention. I think if you look at someone like that, he might get $3-4 million, but his cap hit is what matters to us, what we're looking at. And if he's only got under 2 million, just like Joe Flacco does, Ant Harris, Eric Wilson, Kerryon Johnson's under $1 million. If you can get him under 2 mil, he just replaces another contract and probably only affects you about $1 million to 1.5. So you could add someone like him. Are there any other guys out there, any free agents you think on offense or defense that would help out this Eagles team? And look, you said it earlier, we're not looking for Super Bowl this year. We are retooling, and we know there's going to be growing pains, but some veterans would definitely help some of these younger guys grow toward the future. Are there some names that intrigued you out there still available?
Absolutely. There's a name that you threw out a while ago that I mean, you mentioned Steven Nelson, but we ignore the linebacker position to a fault, man. And one of these guys that from Seattle, KJ Wright, he's been a baller, man, his entire career. To bring in a guy like that, it would be night and day what our linebacker core looks like. To go from a Nate Gary to a KJ Wright would be just incredible, man. And to have that layer of the defense finally be addressed after all these years, it would be amazing. But what's your thoughts? Is Brian Poole still available?
Yes. And you and I talked about this actually on the 4th and Jawn show, and I really like him. And then we went and added Nate Meters, Josiah Scott, all nickel cornerbacks. Now we've got a log jam with 6 effing guys all battling at nickel corner. We need an outside corner. And Brian Poole, as good of a corner as he is, I don't see him playing outside. Same issue there.
Yeah.
But if Zach McPherson, if he had some time to grow, I would like someone like a Brian Poole to come and play nickel. You have yourself a stud there. So I wouldn't be against that at all. And then Zach McPherson. But my only issue is I'm petrified of throwing a kid into the fire and ruining him for the future. And that I love what you said there about KJ Wright, because not only is he here for a year and it really helps the team, and we never put an emphasis on linebacker, but you could look at guys like Davian Taylor and Jacoby Stevens who are supposed to step up and be leaders of the future and be that hybrid linebacker. What better guy than KJ Wright to be there to help these guys grow? The Mufasa, just like D'Amico Ryans. And, we need someone like that desperately. So I love that you picked that one out. And yeah, I like Poole. That's a nice name, but I'm desperate for Steven Nelson. But I love that you're throwing out a different name. Any other names you saw out there that intrigued you, maybe on offense even?
On the offensive side of the ball, you see, I was about to throw another one at you that was defensive, but at the same time, it's a position that's already been addressed in this offseason. When we signed Ant Harris, I mean, there was a real need for isn't Malik Hooker still floating about out there? Or he ended up getting signed?
Dude.
Yeah. That would have been a guy that I would have loved to have brought in. But as we stand right now, I think we've kind of addressed the safety position.
Yeah,
but between the draft and free agency. So that's not exactly a guy I would go shell our few amount of dollars at. But the dude, he's going to end up on a team. He's going to end up being a starter somewhere.
Well, we talked about him, dude. And literally the only reason we jumped off that train is, like you just said, we got Ant Harris. So I was like, exactly. Well, never mind. But Roddy McLeod, he needs to be healthy, and he says he will be. But hey, never know. But that's a good one.
Is there any would you bring in just some more depth at the offensive tackle position?
I wouldn't. I was just thinking when I said about offense, I'm like, where would you even do it? The receivers, they're all young. They're going to be battling out. We got to figure out what we got there. Tight end, I talked about maybe you trade for Dawson Knox, flipping those for whatever. But maybe a tight end you bring in. But
I think the running back room is full as well. Like
love the
I'm
running
looking
back.
at
Love the quarterback.
Todd Gurley's out there, but like,
yeah,
as far as where we stand with running back, there's no need. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the offensive line. And look, we're all petrified that, we just set the NFL record last year with 14 effing starting offensive lines. So different starting. So we look at this offensive line, you get a little scared, but hey, look what we got to find out. Driscoll was really nice. Erbig, really nice. You added Landon Dickerson to eventually take over for Jason Kelsey or maybe Brooks if something happens, or say Amalu. Yeah. But then the left tackle, we've got Jordan Mailata coming out of left field last year. And now you got Andre Dillard, who once again putting on that muscle, studying tape. They said he was hard at it. And look, regardless of how people feel, we got ourselves a nice battle of a first-round pick and a dude with a great story. And it's, dude, may the best man win. And I'm pretty excited that we could have a really good – whoever wins is going to be really good. So what a nice surprise there. The right side, I think Driscoll could hold it down. Matt Pryor is nothing. I know he's versatile, but now you've got so many guys that are versatile. I don't think he makes the team this year. So maybe you could add someone. Was there anyone you had in mind?
I was for the offensive line, I was looking at a guy like Russell Okung or Okung.
That's a great pick, and he's been on some great teams. I like Rick.
But I wanted to throw two names your direction and see, because these guys have been floating about, and I'm actually surprised they haven't been signed yet. They're vet cornerbacks, Mr. Sherman and Mr. Norman, Richard Sherman, Josh Norman. What are your thoughts on bringing in vets like that?
Richard Sherman, I like, and really smart guy. I think that's one of those things where it's like, that's for Zach McPherson. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's like going on a video game. That's like +10 for your career right there. This dude, I have high hopes for. But if you can get someone else, I think Darius Slay's going to do wonders. But Slay can't be out there getting killed. We have to have some help here. Let these guys learn rather than just be thrown in the fire. Mm-hmm. So I think Richard Sherman would be a great pick. And I know he's older, and a lot of people, I don't want that. But it's like, dude, you see what we have. And
would you rather have Sherman, or would you rather have Steven Nelson?
Steven Nelson, I would take. And Nelson, he's played right cornerback, cornerback 2 his whole career in Kansas City for 4 years, and really only played 3, and then Pittsburgh the last 2 years. So I think he's perfect, the perfect role. And I really... Man, I have high hopes for these young guys, but I would bring in someone like him. And Josh Norman, I'm not sure. Don't quote me.
He's fallen off.
Maybe retired. He might have retired. If
really?
Don't quote me on that. But he should. He sucks. So, but no, beyond him, there's like Gary and Conley out there. Some names mentioned. And look, he was somebody that was supposed to be something, and you never know with new scenery. Jonathan Gannon, we talk about how great of a defensive coordinator he could be because he's done great things with defensive backs. So we'll see. But yeah, man, some good names right there. And I think it's a no-brainer move. And I think we're just having a show here to talk about it. And I think I need to be more patient, because I made a joke. I literally had a dream last night that we signed Steven Nelson. I was making graphics and everything. I woke up today and I'm like, wait, did that happen? And I'm like confused. And I'm like looking at my phone, and then I'm like looking at my graphics. I'm like, I didn't make a graphic. And I'm like, was that a fucking dream? And I looked today, and it's going to be 100 days tomorrow since I made the first video saying, please sign Steven Nelson. I'm like, is it really been that? I got to learn to be patient, man. And and look, training camp's coming in a month, and I think that's less than a month. So people are getting antsy. But look, guys, we're getting the money situation, and I think the ERTZ situation figured out, and then two moves will be made.
You just touched on exactly what I was going to say. I mean, we've been antsy all month. We've been thinking that after July 1st that Zach Ertz was going to be moved, and we've kind of just been waiting on the edge of our seat for that to finally happen. According to Merrill Reese, it's going to be happening sooner than later. So we'll see.
And John down here says about if we do end up trading Ertz, and yes, Trey Burton is someone that was mentioned for a while now, and Evan, you were on the show actually. I think like the day after it happened, I made a post about Trey Burton, like, come on home, come play with Nick Sirianni again, and I tagged him in it. And someone's like, he fucking sucks.
And then he liked it.
He liked my post, but then he liked that afterwards. And I'm like, great. Like, he's not coming back, man.
Yep.
So,
and it's your fault.
Like, fuck you. Yeah, man. So thanks, dude, out there. But hey, I'd love to have him. Nice gadget kind of tight end. But we talked about Jack Stoll, the mullet. What a sweet mullet it was. He had rocking pre-draft. Unfortunately, he cut it. But I'll pop this up here from last night's show. This is what we're dealing with here. Who do you see at the if Zach Ertz is gone? Richard Rodgers, obviously, we have here to be that 2-3 type of guy. But who do you think we keep? Who makes the roster here? Jack Stoll's more of that H-back kind of guy that can help you with some blocking, do a few more things. Then you've got Kroom, Butler, and Jackson, who are all project guys. Two of those, Kroom and Butler, are wide receiver turned tight ends, and Tyree, 6'7" quarterback turned tight end. And then Caleb Wilson, grew up an Eagles fan. Pretty cool story. But, you got to actually be good at tight end. So who you see in there who you like?
No, I agree with you. And I think that, like, for a tight end 3 position, it's not exactly like, it's not your go-to tight end. If one of your guys ends up getting hurt, obviously he has to move up a spot. But, like, to have a converted wide receiver be your tight end 3, like a Hakeem Butler or like a Jason Kroom, I would be all right with it, because if they can bring some hands to the table and you break out a play that you just like, if they're on the field, that's probably the last people that you expect to be getting the ball. And if you throw it their way and they have the hand skills to be able to bring it in and make a play with it, I would be perfectly fine with that.
Exactly. And I love what you said there. They come in and it's like, people are focusing in on other players. So maybe they, and they're capable of doing those things, but it might be different because of the fact that when you have a guy like Zach Ertz, and you know that he can't really block, and that he's really just a receiver. When you got a guy like Goddard, now you're changing the table completely on the defense. And then you look at, adding one of those guys and a Richard Rodgers who can do multiple things. I think, that makes things very intriguing, especially with someone like Nick Sirianni who uses those multiple tight end sets. So
exactly,
I'm very, very excited. And, talking about that money, I think Merrill, when he talks about it, that's where something's probably brewing. And after that, we'll probably be talking about the player or players that we add. I think we could add one or two. Probably want to hold on to a little bit of cap, but we don't need to have that much. I mean, throughout the year, you want to have a little, maybe if something happens. But next year, we have $40 million of cap space just as of right now where we speak. So
looking good.
Yeah, looking good. Real good. Now, before we head out here, guys, we got one more question. If someone like Flacco becomes disgruntled, dude, he's not going to be disgruntled. Mullins is going to be here because he's going to help us in the preseason. It's going to help us see what we got with some of these back-end wide receivers and tight ends, really help us, whereas Jamie Newman, I was really excited about him, but he hasn't played in the NFL for 4 years. And Mullins is going to come in and really help us see what we have in these receivers with more accurate throws, understands the game a little bit more. I think
he
it's all right.
He strung together some good games last year, honestly, with the 49ers. Okay. And that's what, like, I think that, do you think there's any potential that he could be the second quarterback on the depth chart over Flacco at some point?
That's kind of taking his question, flipping it. Yeah, I like that. And you guys both have some nice ones there because look, Joe Flacco, I think, he says all these things and he should be, confident guy. And, Nick Sirianni created this atmosphere where there's competition. So yes, there is competition. I love it. But Jalen Hurts is going to beat him. So that's where I stand. And, I don't think Joe Flacco is in any mindset where he's like, I'm totally coming in here. I mean, I did so well with the Jets. Now I'm going to come in here and do well here.
Paycheck, man. He's happy to be getting a paycheck.
He's out here. Dude, does Joe Flacco have the Terminator glasses on out there working out with Devontae Smith, Jalen Rager? No, it's not happening. I'm just telling you. I think Flacco understands it, and he knows if something happens, he'll come in and he'll get his chance. So he's going to sit back, make his money. I think he's good with it.
And some Mai Tais, he'll be all right.
But I like what Evan asked. I think Nick Mullins, if he surprises us in the preseason, maybe you're like, yo, Flacco, it's been great. Appreciate the interviews, the stories. Go F yourself. And, maybe Nick Mullins is the guy that's backing up Jalen Hurts. So good questions from both of you. But Evan, my man, it has been great having you on. Everybody in the chat. John, Corbin, we had Steven out there. I think even Tony was in here tonight. Dude, you guys are awesome. Anybody watching this later, you can always comment on this. Always try to get back to you guys, down to talk some birds. But Evan, my man, dude, thank you so much. I want to give you this time, if you have any final words you want to leave these people, and let them know where they can find you, where you can check it out. You guys all know we work with Fourth. We are Fourth and John.
We are.
You can always check us out, and go check out the latest podcast we just did because it was hilarious, and we had a great time as always. But Ev, got any final words, my man?
Yeah, I just want to thank you first of all for having me on, Jimmy. I always love coming on this show and shooting it with you. Thank you everybody in the comment section. Thank you everybody that follows Fourth and Jawn as well. Just go check out Fourth and Jawn. Follow them. Go check them out on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Give 5 stars, please. We're looking to build up that YouTube brand. You can find me at Hollywood Hearn on Twitter and just at Evan Hearn everywhere else. But my only parting words are something that I know that you're going to resonate with. It's sign Steven Nelson already. For the love of God, please sign the man.
He wants it too.
Yeah, I do.
I love it. Dude, my man, I love having you on. And, I need to sleep better. I'm dreaming about the guy getting signed. That's kind of ridiculous. But dude, it has been awesome having you on. We're definitely going to do it again. But as I always tell you guys, head on over to Fourth and Jawn. Check out everybody, Evan, Gail, Prime, Chris. We're all doing as much as we possibly can to give you guys, dude. And look, we'll be back in person soon. So, dude, strap in. Football's coming back.
We're back, baby.
I'm a little bit excited. So stay tuned. We'll let you know when the next Fourth and Jawn podcast is coming up. I will be back tomorrow unless something wild happens tonight on a Wednesday. I highly doubt it. But you guys all have yourselves a fantastic night. And as always, go Birds!